Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Raymond, also known as Sakaru. If you've been watching my videos, you'll know I'm in the World of Warcraft Legion Alpha. Last night, myself, my guild even, as well as some pugs from another guild, tried out some of the raid testing that went up on Alpha. In this video, we'll be covering Skorpyron, as we believe it's called, in the Suramar raid. Let's jump straight into it. So, we don't know an awful lot about this fight. We kept messing up exponentially. I don't know if that's even the word, but I'm using it. Before covering the video, we think there's a mechanic in this fight which isn't really covered in the dungeon journal, as well as there's no raid warnings and whatnot that pop up in the typical Blizzard standard way. And we also think you'll notice around the sides there's red clouds. We think the animation is a lot smaller than the actual trigger value for these, so we don't get an awful lot of good footage or good tries of this. We don't even get into the second phase where we get a massive DPS increase on the boss. I'll still cover it though. So, first of all, two adds in this fight: Crystalline Skorpyron and Volatile Skorpyron. Now, Crystalline Skorpyron, I believe, are the smaller ones. The smaller adds, that is. They send arcane magic at a target, inflicting 125k arcane damage and an additional 15k damage every half second per 4 seconds, and it stacks. So these need to be nuked down, grouped up, AoE'd, stunned, anything you can do that. Volatile Skorpyons, however, they cause nearby Skorpyons to swarm, which increases their damage done by 10%. So these need to be outright nuked. You could technically group them up with the Crystalline Skorpyons. I don't think it's a good idea. We were having a mixed opinion on it during the raid, because when these things die, they explode for 750k fire damage within 15 yards upon death. So yeah, we're not sure if these actually explode and hurt the Skorpyons themselves. Maybe you could just round them up, pop a cooldown on the tank, explode the Volatile Skorpyron, and the Crystallines die with it. Not really sure. That's something we didn't actually have time to test. But yeah. But yeah, those are two pretty simple mechanics. The boss in question, Skorpyron. Obviously he has a Call of a Scorpion, which encourages nearby Scorpions to aid him in combat. The tanking debuff, Arcano Slash. It slashes all targets in a frontal 18-yard hemisphere and it inflicts 320k arcane damage. Now, when it hits a target, they become tethered near their location and they suffer 20k damage every second while within 10 yards of the tether, and it stacks. Now, from what we saw on the alpha, it seemed like he'd use it in close concession. It looked like he'd do 3 slashes at a time. You might need a small mitigation a buff for this. So we tried having our tanks either swap on every 3 or 6 stacks. Obviously wait for the 3rd or 6th one to go off and then try and break your tether. Obviously with the number of adds, especially the number of adds spawning, we didn't have any really good clean attempts to this. But yeah, the other thing the boss does, he faces a target. It can be a healer or DPS, and he discharges arcane energy, inflicting 800k physical damage and stunning targets hit by for 4 seconds, and it increases duration for subsequent hits. Now it's about a 4 or 5 second cast. You get enough time to run out the way, maybe use a druid roar or something like that to get out. But we did get hit by it a lot. Again, we think the animation might be smaller or even different to what it is. It was very hit and miss, to be honest. Now, the boss has 2 other major abilities. When you first enter the fight, you'll notice he has a buff called, I'm going to pronounce this wrong, Chitinous Exoskeleton, and what this does, it decreases his damage taken by 25%. However, the more damage he takes, the exoskeleton breaks apart and decreases in potency. So the more damage you deal, the less stacks it would have. When you reduce it to 0%, it breaks Chitinous chitinous exoskeleton, and it stuns him for 15 seconds, increases his damage taken by 45%. Obviously that's when you may want to use Lust. You may even want to just use it at the start and get through that phase quicker. And whilst you're pummeling on, while he's got the armor debuff, pieces of his exoskeleton will break off, and it'll inflict 350k arcane damage to all enemies upon impact. Now that seems to be raid wide, so you kind of need to manage your healing with your DPS. If your DPS too hard, the healers might struggle. Now what these broken shards do, you can stand behind them and line of sight the boss for his bigger attack. Now he casts Shockwave, and what this does, at 100 energy, I believe it's 100 energy anyway, he smashes the ground and creates a shockwave and inflicts 400k nature damage and knocks player back. Now it destroys all broken shards. However, if players stand behind broken shards, they avoid the shockwave. Obviously the shard still breaks, but they avoid the shockwave. Now the main reason why this is important, if you get knocked back, the 400k isn't really going to kill you, but around the sides of the room, as said, there are the red clouds, and when somebody touches them, they spawn ads. If all 10 to 30 people, I don't know how many you've got in your raids in Heroic, get knocked back, you're going to create a shit ton of ads. So yeah, as I said, we didn't get an awful lot of testing on this, especially since my alpha broke on me during this. I just got so much MS, it was just unplayable. So apologies for the amount of limited footage we got of this fight. But yeah, please subscribe to my channel, give me a like, a dislike, leave me a comment, follow me on Twitter, add me on Skype if you like. Till next time guys, have a good one.